Hello and welcome to Google Digital Garage. My name is Anthea and today I'm here to help you get your business visible on Google. Do let us know in the chat where you are tuning in from and so we can say a quick hello. Today I am joined by the lovely Kirsty, who is part of the Google Digital Garage team, and Kirsty will be joining us as a moderator today, fielding some of your questions, answering responding to some of your comments, and generally here to help in terms of engagement and getting you answers to the questions that you have. You can identify Kirsty in the chat with a blue spanner next to her name. Before we dive into this packed session that we've got with regards to getting your business visible, I want to run through some of the housekeeping. So if at any point you have any trouble viewing this webinar, please hit the refresh button. That generally tends to solve most problems. If you still have some issues in terms of the video or maybe even the audio, please leave and then come back to using the same link, and that generally tends to solve 9 out of 10 problems. If you would like to join in with the chat today, maybe you've got a question, maybe there's comments or insights that you want to share as we go along, you will need to have a YouTube account. If you do have a YouTube account, use this moment as we start to do with the housekeeping to get yourself set up and to log into your YouTube account, and then the chat function will become available to you. If you don't have a YouTube account, there should be a button within the chat function that will allow you to quickly set one up. And before I've even finished the housekeeping, you will be back and ready to engage. We will be pausing at the end for any questions that you have, but please do feel free to drop your questions into the chat box as soon as you come up with them. And Kirsty will be responding to those and also collating some which I'll answer live towards the end of today's session. In addition, we are running this Google Digital Garage webinar as part of a broader range of courses. Please feel free to go to our website and check out the schedule of our upcoming webinars. We have a range of things from digital marketing strategy, social media, using YouTube, building a personal brand. So wherever you are in terms of your business progress, I'm sure that we have a webinar for you. That is all of the housekeeping done. So let's jump in and get your business visible on Google. Again, this is a really interactive session, so please do let us know where you're tuning in from. And again, let us know if you have any questions as we go. Quick hello to Dr. Tejas, hopefully I've pronounced that correctly, who is joining us from Oxford in the UK. Welcome to today's session. Today, we are going to help you to understand how customers are going to find your business online. We're then going to help you look at how you build your presence on both search and maps. And then lastly, showcase your products across Google. Now, one of the first questions I want to ask is, how are you currently reaching your customers online? Drop in the chat whatever processes or approaches or platforms that you are currently using to reach your customers. And if you haven't started reaching out to your customers, that's absolutely fine. Just drop in the places that you think you would be using to reach your customers. So let us know in the chat and I'll move forward until we start to get some of those responses coming through. Now, in our first session, we're going to be looking at how you can understand how your customers find your business. We generally tend to have a lot of misconceptions about us positioning ourselves in a place that we want to be in and expecting all of our customers to be there. And sometimes that's not the case. So taking a step back and getting a better understanding about how you find your customers or how your customers can find you will potentially help you to change how you approach this moving forward. So we've had in the chat Google, Ads and Meta. Thank you for sharing. Do keep them coming into the chat and we'll be responding to those as they come through. Now, internet users generally tend to use search engines to look for businesses and products. And specifically in the UK, there are over 80% of the population who are regularly shopping online. So of that 80%, there is, whatever percentage of that, your market share in terms of your customers. And so the idea is that by the time we get to 2025, this number is expected to reach around 90%. So imagine 80 to 90% of people are looking for services like yours. So how can you connect with them? Now, in terms of the search results that come, 70% of them use the search results to visit a physical store. And I know that I'm definitely one of them. If I'm out and about, especially if I'm not in an area that I'm familiar with, I generally tend to run a search and look to see what's close by, and then I'll go and visit that store. So people are using the internet to research products that they're interested in with a view that they would go into a physical store also to buy. So just because they're not coming directly to the physical store, there is an opportunity for you to help them do their research online before coming. As they're conducting more and more research online, 62% are using things like Google Shopping tabs to compare similar products between different retailers. So again, if you don't have that presence, if you're not visible online, you are missing out on an opportunity to connect with your customers. Now, the way people generally tend to make decisions is extremely messy. And to be fair, it's getting messier as we go. Now, based on recent research that Google have conducted, there are some things that we do know about how people make a decision about what to buy. Now, what we do know is that there happens to be a trigger and a purchase. And the distance between the two is not linear. So we know that there is this complex web of touch points and decisions that will differ depending on the person. Now, when a potential customer searches online, they tend to be asking a number of different questions to understand and be navigated to the right people. So this is all about curiosity, and we're changing the way that we ask questions. We expect to get more useful advice and also answers from the web. Google see about 15% of unique queries running every single day, and 14% of those search queries are questions. I know for me, when I run a search on Google, I ask Google as I speak, where is the nearest X? How can I do Y? And so if we start to understand how people make their purchasing journey, you can ensure that you are becoming the answer to the questions that they are asking. Now, customers generally tend to expect more personalized results that are right for them, and these include local searches. For example, what's the best product or service? And also, what reviews has this particular business or product got? And then also, what deals are on that might benefit me for this thing that I'm kind of looking at the moment? And so a simplified representation of how a typical customer might make a decision is looking at, they experience a trigger, they search for a product or service or business that has already got an established interest in the product. Maybe they've seen an ad, maybe they've got a problem that needs solving. So, my kettle is broken, my roof is leaking, whatever the case might be. They then engage in both the exploration of that. So what choices do we have? What additional information can I collect to build a picture about what the most appropriate route for me to purchase is? And they continue going through that cycle until they make a decision. And then they use what we've already mentioned to help them make that decision. And so the final part of it then is really about engagement. When where they expect to get what they need right now and with ease. They don't want to have to go to some really complicated process. When they're at the point that they want to make a decision, that needs to be the easiest part of the entire process. And there has been a rise in the open now searches simply because people really want the thing right now. And so because customers have become more impatient, you really need to support them and get their engagement really quickly. So you've got this trigger, they go through the exploration, the evaluation, and part of that experience leads them to a purchase. Now, as they explore and evaluate that messy part in the middle, they generally tend to have what we call cognitive biases, which shape their behavior and also influence why they might choose one product over another. And, there could be hundreds of biases, but we'll take a look at the top few that exists. Now, the first thing is that they want it to be easy, right? So anything that has a short description of the key product specifications, can really simplify purchase decisions. We come across all the time people who want to tell their customers every single thing they know about a product. And while that's honorable, as somebody who doesn't have a huge attention span, as somebody who is quickly looking to gather details and information in order to make a decision, it's too much. The power of now. This is about the longer you have to wait for a product, the weaker the proposition comes. Now, let's say my roof is leaking and I'm looking for somebody who is available to sort out my leak. If I find an amazing business that does, has got amazing reviews, but they can't come and sort out my leak for another 2 months, the power of now is gone. This thing that I need needs to be dealt with right now. If I have to wait too long, I'm no longer interested. You also look at things like social proof. What recommendations and reviews have come from others? Depending on where you go to look at that, such as Google reviews and other platforms, you do also have opportunities to filter. Maybe there's a very specific thing that you're looking for, to get a better understanding of someone who may have a similar challenge and how this particular business has helped them to overcome it. The next is scarcity bias. As stock or availability of a product decreases, the more desirable it becomes. Now, there is a balance between the scarcity bias and the power of now. It could be that you've got products and they're out of stock, but for somebody who urgently needs something that is essential for their ability to function, the power of now will succeed or apologies, cannot get my words today. The power of now will succeed the scarcity bias. So it's more important for them to have it now than it is to be, on a waiting list to get this thing. The next thing is authority bias. So that's being swayed by somebody who's an expert or a trusted source. And this is why we have things like influencers, people who are looked upon as being relevant and authoritative in their area that adds credibility to whatever it is that they suggest. And then lastly, you have the power of free. Sometimes when you get a freebie with a purchase or, something like that, it can be a bit of a motivator. If you have 2 products that are exactly the same, but one offers something in addition for free, then potentially you're likely to go with the one that offered that thing for free. So again, the idea here is to think about what customers are looking for and how you can position your business, your products and your services to meet them in the messy middle. So helping them will start by ensuring that you have a brand presence. Ensure that you are in a place where they can see you. Even if you have a bricks and mortar business, don't sleep on having a brand presence online. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, people will look online before they go into a physical store. So have a number of different campaigns that help you to connect with shoppers wherever they are so that they can recognize the value that you have just by being there, right? And if customers begin to recognize your brand by the language you're using, the imagery you're using, the logo, the things that you're offering, they're more likely to shop with you. The next thing is to close the gap between that trigger and that purpose, that messy middle that we looked at. How can we close that? Create really great content. Put together things like blogs, videos, or even social media posts, as well as the advertising, which is also useful and more targeted. But what that does is it helps you to draw people to your business and your products and give them the information they need in the middle to make the decision that moves them towards that purchase. The next thing is for you to make it easy for them to make a decision and buy. I've seen extremely complicated processes where you have to click 4 or 5 times before you even get to the place where you want to give someone money. Now, if a customer has gotten to the point that they're whipping out their credit card in order to book something with you, you need that to make that the least amount of clicks and the simplest process possible. Do not make this complicated at all. Because as soon as you start to put barriers in the purchasing process, what happens is you send them to another competitor, because anywhere that's going to give them what they need in the quickest way possible is going to always supersede anything else. So why is search important? You know, this whole concept of if you build it, they will come. It's not quite true. It doesn't really work on the online space. Maybe in shopping centres where people are coming through and you can rely on things like footfall. But where you are online, people have to have an idea about what they already want in order for you to show up. So you need to be found. And if you're not there, then you're missing out on an opportunity for you to support and help your customers and clients. So make sure that you are there. And whenever you're using search, try and be as specific and localized as possible. Because when someone is searching, they are going to search for gluten-free pizza restaurant in Birmingham. So how are you aligning your business and the language and the keywords and things like that to the kinds of searches that people are searching for? So again, this is really about you knowing what they're searching for. And we have a few tools that will help you to understand if that's the case. Now, search and shopping behavior has changed because of the internet, and especially with the smartphone. And the idea is to drive local customers to your business. So let's think about the mindset of customers that you want to engage with. Now, depending on what device you are watching on now, if you're watching on a laptop or a tablet, it would be great if you could get out your phone and I want you to search for pizza that's local to you. Right, so you can use any search term, the one that's on the screen or anything else that would help you to solve this problem. So imagine that you are on the hunt for a pizza. What would you go ahead and search for? And then when you complete that search and you get your results coming through, I want you to mentally choose one of the options that come up on your phone. Okay, you don't need to click it, but I want you to mentally choose which option that you would have selected from the results that you got and think about why you would select that one as we discuss. So again, you might be familiar searching for a product or service through whichever device is your go-to or your trusted device. But the behavior has become so habitual, it's important for you to understand how and why people do or search how they do. So when you think about the process that you just took, how did you search for it? You know, which search engine did you go to? Which platform did you use? What specific words did you use to run your search? Feel free to drop that into the chat. It's useful for you to see what others are doing and for you to really pay attention to what your habitual process is for running a search. Did you use a statement? Did you use questions? All of these things matter. And then the second thing is that once you're presented with the results, what were the factors that would have affected which of the listings that you chose? So again, it could be that you saw that they were in a maps. It could be that you saw that they had good reviews. It could be that you liked the name of it or the description that appears beneath the headline felt like it spoke to what you needed in that moment. So again, this is a really good way of you understanding your own behaviors and therefore what your customers are likely to do, and therefore how you can respond as a business. So users generally tend to search for, whatever it is that they're looking for based on what they're interested in, and it could be the topic. So the topic is what people want to know about. It could be sustainability. It could be they want dresses, restaurants, cars. So they type all of those things into a search engine and then they move forward. Now, think about the last thing you typed into a Google search or even the activity that we just completed. Your query may have been more or less detailed than that. So it could be that you got exactly what you were looking for, and that's fine. But it could be that you had no results that even remotely matched what you were looking for. And so what it's useful is to think about, because search engines have become more complex, what additional words that we call modifiers can you add to help your search result become much more specific? So you can use things like near me, how to, cheap, best, used. And by understanding the different modifiers that your customers use, again, this gives you an opportunity to really ensure that you are positioning your business to be found by your customers. So for advertisers, modifiers can provide really insightful, really powerful insights into a rapidly changing consumer needs. So it's about the people's feelings and emotions around the topics, and that can signal the type of intent. It could be that they use an exploration phase in their shopping journey because they're doing research for products, they're comparing and they're looking at their budget. So the idea is that instead of a one size all fits approach, as a brand, you have the opportunity to help your consumers find exactly what they're looking for. So if we look at over the years, they've gone from very broad searches like a dress to a wedding guest dress to a wedding guest outfit for over 50s. And because there is so much content online, the more you can really be specific about what you're searching for and ensuring that your website or your content really speaks to very specific things, the more likely that your consumers will understand that you are the ones who can solve their problems. So when you have, so we have a tool called Google Trends, and it's g.co/trends. Now, this is brilliant because it helps you to see how people's search interests have evolved over a longer period of time. You can have a look for a particular search term, and then you can specify what country that's from, over which particular time. Again, just giving you an example, imagine if you were doing something for Halloween, maybe for Christmas, or maybe for Easter, you can get comparative results that time in a previous year. And it gives you an interest for what an idea about what people were searching for at any given time. And so sometimes it could seem like growth has stagnated and that there isn't new demand. But sometimes when you get a little bit more specific and you look at some of the modifiers that have changed or that people are using, you start to see what interests have been shifting over time. And then essentially you get to understand what intent that they have. So I would definitely recommend that you go to use Google Trends, and Kirsty just posted a link for that in the chat, when you get a moment to run a comparison to certain search terms that you think your customers might be using and to see how the interest in those things have changed over time. You can also use things like Google Ads. Getting search insights can help you stay close to what your consumers need and also adjust your campaign. So if you're using ads, you use the insights from Google Ads to ensure that you are constantly speaking to the right people and monitoring those changes over time. So it's an automated tool, and it shows you the trending search terms that are related to the keywords that you're monitoring so that you can see new demand as it emerges. And this is a very good way to be very responsive to what is going on with your customers in real time versus waiting for a whole 6-month year campaign to complete and then reflecting on whether or not it got you the responses that you were looking for. So next we move into building your presence on search and maps. Now, when a user types in a query, there are many different types of results that can appear. And if you're used to using Google, you may already be familiar with some of these. Now, for the first part is that it's an organic search. Now, organic searches refer to websites that show up on a search engine page, search engine results page, or SERP. They are not paid. And the idea is that they're matched to the query that's been written in the search box. And that's based on algorithms, and that measures things like relevance and authority. It could be that you used a paid search. So there are people who are creating ads, and that's a marketing method that enables you to pay to be positioned or shown to particular customers and appear at the top of the search engine results page, depending on the keywords being used again. Then you have a business listing. So the Google Business Profile, if you're a local business that you've got an online portfolio for, it contains information about your business. So your business name, your location, a website. For example, if you were in the food industry, you might also include things like photos of your food, a link to a menu, and things like that. If you're into services, it could also include things like booking an appointment. And then lastly, you've got the shopping, and the shopping element is an area that helps shoppers to find and research products from businesses who've listed their products using Google Merchant. So if you've got it across the web, and it basically points them directly where they can buy that particular item. So over the next few slides, we'll take a look at how you can appear in each type of result when a user searches for a particular query, and also where they appear on that page. So the first thing is for you to really understand where your business will be seen when it comes to search. So the first part is you would enter, or somebody would enter, their search query. In this example, it's about a bakery in Birmingham. They would generally type in a word, a phrase, or even a question. I like to look at this part as a problem. You know, whatever it is that they are searching for, there is a problem of some sort. They need a hair appointment, they need something fixing, they want a new outfit, they're looking for a dog walker. Whatever it is, every person who searches for something has a problem that needs to be solved. So when they hit the enter or the magnifying glass to run that search, essentially everything that comes back is a potential solution to that problem. Now, it could be an ad, which appears at the top. And again, these are paid placements, and all the advertisers compete against each other, essentially bidding for specific keywords that relate to the search term that enable them to appear at the top of this page. So if you have an ad, that does not guarantee that you will always be shown for every ad or search result that comes up. What you do is you specify the keywords for which you want to be shown, and you bid and pay for each of those times where your ad is shown or maybe clicked through. Then you have the Google Business Profiles. And again, if you don't have this, please do get this immediately. Honestly, the Google Business Profiles, because it's based on a map, it's based on location. So if you have customers who are looking for something in a particular area, it could be that your business shows up on the Google Business Profile, even if your business is not listed on that first page of the search results. So you're definitely missing out on an opportunity to be visible by not having a Google Business Profile. So again, have that information on there, put the pictures on there, put as much information as you can about your business so that people can understand what you do and how to find you. And then beneath all of that, you'll see the organic search results. You also have things like the shopping. So again, they tend to appear at the top, and they will have images of different products that relate to the search query. And you click on that and it takes you directly to that specific item. And again, you have sponsored shopping results, which are essentially ads. And then you have organic shopping results, which, similar to the web sites that are shown across a page, are organic based on keywords, relevance, authority, etc. So when it comes to search engine optimization, you really want to be increasing the quantity and quality of traffic through your website through organic search. So whether you pay for ads or not is irrelevant. It's always worthwhile taking the time to ensure that your business is organically found. So this helps you to show up in those non-paid results, and it makes it easier for people to find you when they're searching for things you already have to offer them. Now, there are more than 200 signals that Google look for when it comes to determining how a page ranks, but content is definitely key. Your goal is to include the information on your website that helps Google understand what your business is about. That then helps them to position you in front of the people who are searching for exactly what it is that you want. Now, the search engine primary goal is to help people find what they're looking for. And so if you can help the search engine decide that your website is the solution to the problem that they're searching for, you are off to an amazing start, and you're getting more eyes and more traffic into your business. How do you know how well your site is doing and what search terms make it appear in the results? Now, Google Search Console, again, we'll drop a link into the chat for you. This is another free tool by Google. And honestly, it gives you a lot of useful information that can be used to really tweak the effectiveness of your website and its ability to be found. So Google Search Console will help you to monitor and maintain your website in Google's search results. It's got two primary functions. The first is to monitor your performance in the search results, and then shows you how Google sees your site. So it can say whether or not Google can even access your site. And if you do submit new content and remove old content, you don't want the old stuff to be shown in the search results. And it also monitors your site for problems. Maybe you've got an image in there that is way too big and is causing your website to load really slowly. It can also help you with things like that. So there are a number of reports that are available, and it will help you to see which queries caused your site to appear in search results. Now, for those of you especially who are paying for ads and also trying to boost your organic reach, that part of it is gold, because what you're seeing is what people have searched for in real time that Google believed your website was a response to or a solution to. And if you find that the search terms that are coming up have absolutely nothing to do with your business, then what it shows is that there's a mismatch. Either you have not understood your customer base enough, or you have got content that is not clear enough for Google to identify the type of business that you are. It also highlights which websites link to your site, and if your site works well on mobile devices, and so much more. So please do get this and check it out. And the data collections part of it is for, it starts as soon as you add the property from your Search Console account. So get that set up ASAP and you'll start to collect some data from that. Now, some of the requirements in terms of search engine optimization are to do with technical requirements. So can your site be found by Google? So as a bare minimum, you need to ensure that the technical requirements are essentially what is the minimum that Google search needs from a web page in order to show it in the results. And to be fair, it's really very few things. So again, can it be found by Google? Is your page working? And can Google read your content? So a lot of sites generally tend to pass the technical requirements without even realizing it, but it's worthwhile having that in the back of your mind to ensure that you are being mindful about being seen by Google. And then also there are spam policies that detail the behavior and tactics that can lead to a page or an entire site being ranked much lower or completely removed from Google search. So keyword stuffing, cyber threats, plagiarism, all are no-nos. So try and focus on getting the right amount of content, the best content that you have, the greatest experience that your customers can have on your website, and I guarantee you are likely to do well in the search results. What are some best practices? There are many things that you can do to improve your site's search engine optimization. And there are a few core practices that can have the most impact on your web content's ranking and also appearance on Google search. So firstly, create helpful, reliable, people-first content. If you are in business for any other reason than to help people, somehow you've missed the mark. All right, so everything that you are creating is to help someone in some way. Stay focused on that. Ensure that the content that you are creating is helpful, it's reliable, and it's putting their needs first. Then start to look at some keywords that people would tend to use to search for products and services like yours. So in terms of the words, you want to put them in prominent locations. So having a title and a main heading for a page, and then other descriptive locations like having alt text and also link text. So alt text is the text that appears especially when you've got images. So this is also useful for things like screen readers, so they understand what images are being displayed. Next, make sure your links are crawlable so that Google can find other pages on your site via the links on your page. And make sure you're telling people about your site. Honestly, it's so interesting that a lot of people start up a business, they create a website and they don't tell anyone about it. Make sure that even if you're posting on social media, you have a call to action that is telling people to go and visit your website. If a social media post, go and visit your website. If you're doing a live, go and visit your website. Wherever you get an opportunity, tell people about your site. Now, if you have other content, always make sure that you're following best practice. So whether you're using images, videos, structured data, or JavaScript, that ensures that Google can understand those parts of your page as well. And enhancing how your site appears by enabling features that make sense for your site. Now, there are specific add-ons, etc., but don't do it for the sake of trying to rank, because the focus on your website is to ensure that your customers have a good experience on your website. So don't switch on every feature and function that's available because you think that will give you a good ranking, because if everyone comes to your site and hates the experience, it's a lose-lose situation. And then if you have any content that shouldn't be found in search results, or you want to opt out entirely, make sure that you're using the appropriate method for controlling how your content appears in Google search. There is another tool that we want to let you know of, and you can do this after. Remember, we have this replay available for the next 24 hours, but this is a really good way to get some insights into your website. So if you, again, have another device or in the background, go to pagespeed.web.dev, type in, which we'll post into the chat for in a moment, type in the URL for your website, and then have a look at what comes up, and then share 1 or 2 actions that you want to take to improve your site, and post 1 of those or 2 of those in the chat so that we can have a look. Again, the idea here is for you to use one of the tools to look at a particular website or a web page and give you some hints, some tips, some maybe best practice on how you can improve on that particular page. So it's really good, really useful to be able to see where you can make some really small improvements that could have a big impact in terms of user experience. So again, use this. We've also mentioned trends and also Google Search Console. So do have a look at all of these. And again, if you manage to do this while we're on this webinar, please do drop your results into the chat for us. Okay, search engine marketing, or SEM, is using paid advertising to ensure that you're visible in search engine results. So the great thing here is that you only pay when a user clicks on an ad. Excuse me. You only pay when a user clicks on an ad. So this is not about you showing up and having to pay every time you show up in a search engine results. This is only when you've shown up in results and someone thinks, great, I'm going to check out that website, and they click on that link and it takes them to your webpage. So when it comes to the search ads, it will allow you to appear, as you can see on the screen, on the top left-hand side. So again, sponsored essentially means paid. So with most online advertising channel, Google will decide which ads are shown in which positions based off this, what I refer to as the auction. So when I mentioned about bidding, there are particular keywords or phrases that you will bid on. And depending on how successful you are in that bid, you will appear on a particular results page based on the search term that's been typed in. And there are up to 7 ad slots available across the search engine results page. And the top 4 tend to be the most competitive, as this generally tends to be where most users click. And as they are usually pay-per-click, you will only pay when a user clicks on your ad. So for those of you who are thinking about budget, bear that in mind. You also have, so in terms of creating the search ad in itself, you would create your campaign in Google Ads. You will determine what your goal is, and you will bid on the particular keywords that you want to use. You'll set your budget, you provide your website, your logo, your ads, and then essentially let it go and do the work for you. Once you get a bit more experience with using ads, you can try out the Performance Max Ads, which is the AI powered tool within Google Ads. What that does is it helps you to analyze your website and any other online properties and generate ads to meet your goals within your budget. It can even create images and text that best drive users towards your website using provided images or even stock images. And they tend to adjust as they go along. So again, with the AI aspect, it's about learning as you go to ensure that they have the best placement to maximize your return on investment. If you happen to be new to ads, please don't start there. What we would suggest is you just have the basic ads, basic build, and do all of that stuff. And then the more you learn and understand, you can start looking at some of the more advanced ads. The Google Business Profile will help you to show up on search and maps. A few slides ago, we looked at the search engine results page and the map that comes up and the little location pointers that come up in there. Those are based on the Google Business Profile. Now, customers who are searching locally for businesses, and also 93% of web traffic comes from Google, and that includes Google Business Profiles. In order for you to qualify for a business listing, you have to meet customers. A business must be able to meet customers face to face at a store or within a specified local service area. And it is important to make sure that your business information appears and is correctly for when people search for you online. To be visible in that local search, again, there are a number of different factors that impacts that or influence it. It's the relevancy, it's the distance, it's the prominency. Now, relevance is about how well a business listing matches the search. So if your listing is detailed, if it's up to date, Google is more likely to show it for relevant searches. And customers tend to be nearly 3 times more likely to consider a business reputable if they find a complete business profile on search or maps. As I mentioned earlier, if you don't have a Google Business Profile at all, you are missing out on the opportunity to be found within search and maps, even if your website doesn't rank highly in the typical organic search results. And customers are also 70% more likely to visit and 50% more likely to consider purchasing from businesses that have a complete profile. Distance is exactly what it sounds like. How close is the business to where that person is searching from or the particular area that they have searched for? And the prominence is gauged by how well known the business is. And generally that tends to be based on information that Google can find across the web. Now, the Google Business Profile is a great place to enable you to collect reviews. So this is, again, when we looked at, the messy middle, people are looking for reviews. They want to know that other people have tried these products and services. And a great way to give them that social proof without them having to go anywhere else is to invite your customers to write reviews against your business, which will be shown with the Google Business Profile. So when it comes to your business and how that's shown, this is really where the visibility comes in. There are local searches such as Open Now near me has grown over 400% between 2019 and 2021. 400%. So Google Maps is integrated with search, and it can help to pick up a user's location if they've got location on and feed them results that are relevant to where they are. So again, this is really useful if you think about maybe somebody is coming into town and is visiting. It could be that they are going to be in a particular area and want to know if a particular store that they're looking for will be open when they go there. Whatever that is, they can go and have a look at there. They can look at the business profile, and that will give them information about that particular business. And so they're using a lot of things like Open Now, right? Again, usually I refer to this, especially on a Sunday, where shops tend to close at different times depending on which town you're in. Some people might want to know, well, is this open right now? It could be that you're in the evening, like we did a search earlier, hunting for pizza. It's great. You find a pizza place got amazing reviews, but it turns out it's not open again until tomorrow. Completely unhelpful. How can you use the search function to get what you need when you need it? Remember, what we're trying to do is simplify the purchasing part of it. If we make that too complex, we end up losing customers. So the idea is for you to show up to people who are in a particular area that's been searched for and direct them to your physical store, provide them with that information or also some contact details. So really do make use of this and ensure that you have got a Google Business Profile by the end of today. So how would you go about doing that? The first is you go to business.google.com and you add your business. That is literally the simplest process. You add your business name, you put in the relevant information, specify where you are based, and you also select a method for verifying your listing. So just because your business exists, Google want to make sure that you are a legitimate business, and there will be a process for you to verify that your business is a legal entity, and they'll send you something that you need to put a code in to validate that. So it really is straightforward. And once you've got your profile set up, you can't collect reviews until you've been verified. So please do bear that in mind, but you will be given a link. And so when you're thinking about marketing yourself, it's always useful to have maybe get a QR code or maybe even the link to your Google reviews to send out to all of your customers every time somebody buys. And that encourages your customers to keep coming back and tell everyone how great their experience has been. Because remember, that is one of the influencing factors, social proof, for other people also coming to buy from you. So how do you go about optimizing your profile? Well, once you've got it, the main thing is to keep it up to date. You want to look like you're active and that you didn't set it up on the 13th of November 2023 and a year later it still has the same info. All right, so you want to update what times are you open. And there is an opportunity for you to make updates when there are things like bank holidays, because especially if you are a bricks and mortar store, people want to know if you're going to be open. So let them know if you're planning to be open or closed or what your hours are going to be. And that helps them to prepare or understand when you'll be available to them. There is an option for you to add photos. Again, really nice to put photos of maybe the staff or maybe some things behind the scenes. So anyone who's looking at your profile really gets to understand your business on a level that they may not have known unless they, managed to get to your business and have a conversation. So you can use it for both behind the scenes content and also to showcase your products and services. You want to be responding to the reviews. So when you do collect them, make sure you're responding not only to the ones that are great, right? So social proof is also about your customer service. So if I'm looking to purchase something from your business and I've seen that you only respond to say thanks to people who've given you a 4 or 5 star, but for someone who had a really awful time, you haven't even bothered to acknowledge, or you've just said, sorry, you've had a bad experience and moved on, I would be thinking, I don't want to buy from that company because I know that something potentially can go wrong with every business I buy from. It's not that it will go wrong, it's how they recover from that. And so by you stepping up and responding to and resolving some challenges that you find within your reviews, it gives a different perspective on what your customer service is like, which can attract people to your business. You also have an option to add the chat feature so you can provide support to customers in real time. And again, you have an opportunity to use ads as well. Keep your products and your inventory. You can add your products, and inventory to Google Business Profile, and it gives people a way to connect directly to your in-store inventory using Pointy, which keeps customers in the loop about what products are available at what time. So again, really this is about you maintaining this and ensuring that people are aware of what you're doing, what's new, what other people have said, and how you can continue to interact and engage with the people and nurture that audience that you have. So you can also use posts within your profile to tell people what's new. I mentioned about holidays. So if you've got, Black Friday's coming up. So if you've got Black Friday deals, if you've got Christmas deals, if you've got New Year's sales, these are great ways to inform customers and potential customers about what's new and what's coming up. And those posts update directly on your business listing and will appear when someone finds you on Search and Maps. So you can either share special offers directly to your customers if you've got a mailing list, but if you're opening those out to anyone, then you can put your offers and your promotions on your Google Business Profile as well. So give them more reasons to come back and post, fairly frequently, so that they know what's happening, what's special, what are seasonal updates, and all of that kind of thing. Because again, you also have to remember that not every potential customer is on every social platform. So if you know that there are a number of people who are using Google Search, but they may not have an Instagram or a Facebook account, then this may be the only way they can find out what's going on with you. So don't discount it just because you've put it in different places. You have to remember that your audience will access you in a variety of locations. Then you have insights. So how do you get to improve your Google Business Profile? Similar to what we've looked at so far, it's looking at the data. There's another free tool within the Google Business Profile that helps you to explore and leverage your insights. So the analytics behind it that says, how customers are searching for your business. Is it direct? What are they searching for? How many visits have you got? Depending on the additional features and functions you enable, you can see how many people have called you, maybe they booked something, etc. So again, really great way to see how people are interacting with your profile. It's kind of like its own mini website in itself. And you also get to see how many photo views and what the quantity of that is. So again, really useful data to help shape how you move forward. So our final section is to look at how you can showcase your products and services across Google and build that presence on Search and Maps. Now, again, Google Shopping, this is a great way for, there are people are shopping on Google more than 1 billion times a day, 1 billion. So this will then, Google Shopping allows you to display your inventory and products to those 1 billion people who might be searching for products like yours. So the interface is designed to highlight the images and the product descriptions, which again enables your customers to compare very easily. You can also create Google Shopping ads. Again, the idea is that this is paid. So getting a better understanding of what your customers are searching for puts you in a better position to be put in a slightly higher position, so that when they're searching for it, they come across yours quicker than they see the organic results. And generally, if people are searching for specific products, they tend to be likely to be ready to buy. So you've caught them at such a good time. So if what you've got in your Google Shopping links them directly to the page where they can add to their basket and check out, you are more likely to get the sale than trying to drive them to a more generic page and trying to move them through a longer process. So as a retail business, you want to be able to show your products to customers as they are searching. And that's where, your Google Merchant Center comes in. So with your account, you can add your products for free, and your listings can appear when customers are looking for products like yours. So it could be on Google Search, someone's looking for trainers. It could be on Maps. There are, sports stores, sportswear stores near me. It could even be YouTube. People are selling things through there based on videos that they've created. So there is a number of different ways that people can be using your Google, and because you're using Google Merchant Center, it's now put your products in front of others. So how does it work? You add your products to the Merchant Center. So if you're on an e-commerce platform like Shopify or BigCommerce, you can connect your shop and automatically add your products. And you can also upload a spreadsheet or add items one by one. So it's down to you which you prefer. Your products will appear on the shopping tab for free. And they'll come up in searches like search, maps, YouTube, and more whenever they're searching for it. And then your customers click. It needs to really be a 1, 2, 3 simple process. Get them online, ensure that they are visible, let customers buy. That is it. But if you do have a physical store, you can also direct customers to that instead. So the number of businesses that are using Merchant Center has doubled in the last couple of years, and it's becoming a lot simpler for you to get started, to find customers and grow your business online. So again, you can have a look and at the information, access that information, understand your performance by bringing all of the insights and reports in the performance tab, look at the trends, look at what people are buying. And again, really using those insights to tailor what it is that you are doing. And yeah, become a trusted local professional that helps you stand out. As a service provider, you want to really stand out to clients who are looking for things like yours. So if you are a plumber or a house cleaner or electrician, you want to be backed up with the Google Guarantee badge. And that's a really good thing that gives people that extra level of security or comfort and gives you a level of credibility that people can trust you as they reach out for your products and services. So you don't have to have a website to use these particular ads, and you only pay when you're contacted by a customer. So there's no charge for people clicking on the ads. They can book services directly with you using a phone call, but if you're on a platform that's already connecting customers with professionals, you can expand your offering to include local service ads. So sign up as a service provider, let us know where you're located and the services you offer, and that makes sure that Google is showing your ads to the right local customers. Set your budget, how much you want to spend, based on the number of new leads that you want each week. And again, remember, you only pay when customers contact you from your ad. And then start your ads on Google. So you're in full control. Simply turn your ads on or off. But when you turn them on, that will help you to reach local customers. And then again, you can turn them off if you're booked up or if you know that you're going to be away. So we have a few minutes to spare. Are there any questions? Looks like Kirsty has been doing her thing, answering questions in the chat, so that is absolutely fine. The next thing for us to then go on to say is, let us have your feedback. In the same way, all businesses need to understand what has worked well, what would you like to see more of. Let us know what your feedback is. You can scan the QR code that is on the screen, or you can type in the URL and let us know what you would like to share. There is also an email address, team@thedigitalgarage.co.uk, if you would like to provide any other feedback or you have questions on today's session. So I would like to thank you for joining us today. We hope that you have found this session useful. We hope that you have taken something away, and do feel free to drop in the chat one of your takeaways from today's session that we hope that you are able to use in order to make your business more visible on Google. So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to welcoming you to another Google Digital Garage training session in the near future. Thank you and goodbye.